Good evening and welcome into the Mafia Cast, brought to the fans by the fans, and this is your one-stop shop for all things Bills every single week. Now here are your hosts, Mike Yanni, Ronnie Eastham, and Casey Ceda.
I don't. Sorry, everybody, but Papa Ron is muted.
You know it. You know I had to be. Welcome in, Bills Mafia. How are we doing on a Victory Monday?
Oh, Papa Ron. Next time, I'm just going to let you go and see how long. I see if somebody comments or something.
Well, yeah, all two people that are watching will comment like, hey, we can't hear you. How's your day been, man?
Oh, you know, watching Syracuse. College basketball is officially kicked off. I didn't even know it was starting already. I mean, I know that they had been having some exhibitions, but November is here quick, and now not like it's already here. And now we're in the quick time of year with all the holidays coming up and everything. So I hope you're ready for a ride because this NFL season is already halfway done and I don't like it.
I was thinking about this. I love this game. I love football. I love the NFL, college football as well. But we're kind of at the point with the Bills where, as far as I'm concerned, they're almost a lock for the playoffs every year. That's almost a given. I want that Super Bowl so bad. It's almost like, can we just skip to that? Let's just get there. But then again, I'm like, man, that's only a month and a half worth of football too. So then it's 6 months without the game.
Right.
But yeah. So what are your thoughts? I'll just jump into the game last night or yesterday. Before we get to the field goal, when at the beginning of the game, where was your mind at as far as that game? Were you confident before and after the announcement that Amari Cooper and Christian Benford were going to be out?
The Amari Cooper thing, it didn't worry me as much. We've played one game with him. So it didn't, basically one game with him. He barely played the second game where he got that wrist injury. Christian Benford, yeah, I mean, he is one of the best corners in the league this year. We're going against Miami, who was getting Tua back, starting to hit their stride. But I was oddly, I say calm. My wife would highly disagree. But I was like, I never felt like the Bills were going to lose. I don't know. It was weird. I never felt like we weren't in control of the game, no matter how the game flow was going. Because it kind of the Dolphins kind of did what I thought they were going to do to us, and they were going to run the ball on us because they have two very good running backs. And they get those running backs in space. And that's what we struggle with. We struggle with tackling and we struggle in space, and that's what the Dolphins like to do. So I was like, so that didn't surprise me at all. It kind of went how it was going to go. I thought we were going to get control of the game. I think if Keon either scores that and catches that ball, scores that touchdown, or that phantom holding call doesn't happen on Josh's touchdown run, then I think that game goes the Bills' way a lot earlier than it did. I think that was one of those momentum plays in football, or those are some of those momentum plays in football to where, you just keep shooting yourself in the foot, or, this happens, that happens, the other team gets some life. And then we saw that happen in the second half when Taron made Mostert fumble the ball.
Yeah, that was one of the things heading into that second half that I was thinking about, is the fact that in the first half of that game, we pretty much did what we wanted to on offense. It was, as you said, it was the shooting ourselves in the foot, or in some cases, the referees shooting us in the foot. But so I was confident during the game that we would be able to at least score some points. But to answer my own question, before the game, I was 100% confident. Josh Allen owns the Dolphins. This is a piece of cake. We got this. The Dolphins are not good. They've checked out on the season. Their season's over. And then Amari Cooper's out. Like, oh, well, that stinks, but we'll be fine. We put up, 31 on him the last time without Amari Cooper. 31, 34, whatever the points was. But then Christian Benford being out, I may have dropped a couple of F-bombs, and my wife may have had to tell me, relax. Because we know that the Dolphins have two of the fastest, and it is easily the fastest duo of receivers in the league. And Christian Benford has played like one of the best corners in the league this year. And he was really good last year. In PFF, he finished in the top 10, I think number 7 or something like that. So not having him, that was concerning for me because I already knew that they were going to be able to run the ball on us. Because like you said, we have been miserably terrible against the run. The only reason why we're not dead last in the league in rushing is because of one game against the Seahawks last week. They actually showed up. But so as the game progressed, we get into halftime. Like, okay, I am confident in our offense, but I was nervous because I just didn't know what to expect from the defense in that second half.
I mean, that's where I was more. I mean, where I'm more confident is the second half. I mean, we've seen it just about every single game this year. You know, the defense seems to. It looks like the opposing offense does whatever they want in the first half to us, even though they don't put up a bunch of points. You know, but they move the ball. But that's the classic bend don't break defense that we always hear and talk about. But then in the second half, you see like you hear it all the time, like. They make the team show their hand in the first half. So that way in the second half, they know exactly the adjustments they have to make. And then they're like, all right, well, now you have to do something entirely different than what you thought was sort of working in the first half. You're a lot more bullish on the defense than I am, aren't you? You're not. I feel like you're starting to lose faith in it, and it's funny because I'm starting to gain more faith in the defense as the season's been going on.
Dude, let me tell you, I wrote a couple of articles today that they'll go live tomorrow, but both of them, I basically trashed the defense. Some things need to change. Daquan Jones at Oliver, I'm over it. I looked at Oliver's contract today. Buffalo's pretty much stuck with him. Yeah, yes, Bean has kind of shown us here in the past that he's not overly concerned about dead cap money based on what we've seen with Stephon Diggs' situation and a couple of others. But because they took on so much dead cap money this year, I just don't see them wanting to go down that road again. I think this, as you called it, a kind of a reset year. We're stuck with Oliver for a couple of years, this year, next year. I think after that cap hit drops to like 6 or 7 million. And the savings goes up to like 14. So we're stuck. What Oliver is to me, and I think we have 6 or 7 years of film to show this, he's not a game changer. He's not a difference maker. He's not somebody that everybody else is better because of. He is somebody that needs somebody else to make him better, i.e. the 3 tech next to him or 1 tech next to him, like a Daquan Jones. However, Jones has been miserably bad this year too. So now you're seeing Oliver struggling. He needs that big guy next to him to occupy the blocks so that Oliver can work in space where he is good. And I am so over this defensive line right now.
Well, you also got to wonder how much the injury is still affecting Ed. Because it seems like he still isn't playing the full amount of snaps. Now, I understand they do like a defensive rotation, but like on the line, but he still last game he was not playing the same amount of snaps as it seemed like he normally did. Just watching the game, I mean, I haven't gone back and counted or any of that, but like just from what I noticed, and to be honest, who like the best defensive outside of Greg Rousseau? I mean, he was phenomenal on Sunday. Who like the best defensive lineman on Sunday was Eli Ankou. He played very well. The Dolphins' run game, they either got 6 yards or 6 to 10 yards, or they got none. And it seemed like every single time they got none,
yeah,
it was like it was Ankou. It was every single time. And I've said it for the last I think 3 years that I thought he just deserved the 4th, 5th defensive tackle spot in the rotation. He's played well enough, like in my opinion, compared to what we've had in the past, like as the fourth and fifth options, or even third, fourth, and fifth options. Where why not? Why not give him a chance?
Yeah, yeah, I do agree with that. I've gotten to the point with this defensive line outside of Rousseau. Um, I was starting to come around to the idea of Dwayne Smoot, but now he's on IR as of today. So I think this offseason, it's time to blow up the defensive line and basically start over. Build this thing around Rousseau. I want to see Dwayne Carter back on the field when he comes back from his injury. I want to see more Javon Solomon. Let's see what we have in these guys. Because if you look at the people who they would be replacing, they're not making plays anyways. So you might as well put these rookies in there, let them start to get their lumps and learn on the fly. So that by the time we get to the playoffs, that learning curve is flattened out. Because Oliver's not doing anything for us. Daquan Jones isn't doing anything for us. Hell, get Austin Johnson in there and let him get a little bit more snaps.
He didn't play very well on Sunday. And that's one of our dudes. But
yeah, you know what Daquan Jones' overall PFF grade was for this game?
Probably
30.
Bad. Yeah, that's
30.
This isn't golf.
It's so bad.
So next year, here's the foundation of the line for next year. It's going to be Groot, Epinesa, Oliver, Solomon, and Carter. So there's 5. That's 3. You got 3 edge rushers, 2 defensive tackles. I fully expect a defensive lineman to be taken in the top 2 picks next year. And I guarantee you they get. Well, I almost guarantee you they go.
The Bills' top 2 picks?
Yeah, I guarantee you the Bills take wide receiver, defensive line in their first 2 picks next year.
I hope they do.
I almost guarantee it.
I know a lot of Bills Mafia is going to push back against that, particularly with the defensive line. But you look at this group that they keep bringing in basically journeyman defensive linemen, and for some reason thinking that they can turn them around. The only defensive lineman they've drafted that's done anything is Rousseau, and they drafted him in the first round or second, I think.
If you're gonna say Rousseau's been something, then you got to say Ed's been something, because Ed's had more sacks in the season than Rousseau's had in any season in his career.
Oliver had 1 good season last year. He's in season number 7, I think. 6 or 7.
He's had 5.5 sacks at least one other time. Groot's
and
only
you're
done
talking about the difference between a second rounder versus a top 10 guy. That's my problem with Oliver.
Groot was a first round. They were both first rounders.
Late first rounders.
Hey, nobody cares.
Rousseau has done way more. Rousseau's done way more with half the time that Oliver's had.
I don't know.
But
Oliver's only had 2 extra years.
But you can also see with Rousseau, there has been getting better and better and better every year. You see that. You see him making a lot more splash plays almost weekly, not all the time, but most games. There's a couple of moments, like even that last last ditch effort by the Dolphins. Rousseau was in the perfect position, played that so well, and ran down. I can't remember who it was.
Waddle. That's why Tyson had said Rousseau's fast, because he chased down Waddle.
You see things like that from Rousseau. I'm done with Epinesa. I'm done with Tuhill. I'm done with Miller.
So for as much as money as a defensive end commands now, compared to a defensive tackle, who would you rather pay? Because Groot isn't worth top tier defensive end money that he's starting to command, in my opinion, just purely because of his age and the upside of his ability. So like that's the point to where it's like, where's the value with the money like for how they've played? Because that's a big question that they're going to have to answer next year after his 5th year option.
Yeah, I'm going through the list here really quick. So I want to see where Rousseau is currently. There he is. 4.5 sacks on the season. He could potentially get to double digits. He's not a Max Crosby, right? Obviously, we know that. He's not one of the Bosa brothers or anything like that. He's I think he's one of the better run defending edge players in the
He
game
might be the
today.
best.
Yeah, but
He might be the
again,
best.
yeah, he's not that. It almost reminds me of Jerry Hughes. You remember when the last few years of Jerry Hughes, we always talked about, oh, he's top 5, top 10 in pressures. Well, who cares? He doesn't get the sack. That's kind of where Rousseau is right now. Except with Rousseau, he is a much better run defender. He might be the best run defender on our defense.
You know who Rousseau, like, if the sack numbers don't get up, is going to start looking like? Our old buddy Shaq Lawson. Because what was Shaq Lawson? One of the best run defenders on the edge that you could get, and he would give you 5.5 sacks a year. And
I
look
do think
exactly
Rousseau's
what.
a better pass rusher than that. But
Not
I
according
understand
to
where you're
his
coming
stat.
from.
I mean, with his stats, I mean, he's 5.5 every year, you know, and I mean,
Yeah,
I think
he's at
Shaq got
4.5
to,
right now.
I think Shaq got to 9, and that's what got him paid by the Dolphins or whoever paid him.
Yeah,
So
I think
even he got to 9.
I do think if the Bills could address the issue with the middle of the defensive line, with the defensive tackles, I do think that would help a great deal with the edge guys, Von Miller, Tuhill, Epinesa, all of them. Because none of them are a TJ Watt. None of them are a Joey Bosa. None of them are a Max Crosby. They're not going to take over a game. But they can make some impact plays if they've got somebody in the middle that's occupying blocks and pushing the pocket. And we just don't have that right now at all. Like
See,
watching Tua run, just stand there and like even when Tua's not a runner, dude, and he ran for a couple of first downs. Now we're all praying for his life when he was doing it, but
that I sent a text to a group chat that said everybody made that decision. Do we kill him or do we give him the first down? And they're like, let's just give him the first down. And I was so glad because I think everybody in the stadium held their breath. I did. I know I did. When he ran, I would like in my inner head, I was like, no. It genuinely, like, I was genuinely worried for his safety.
And then he went head first still.
I know, and I was like, dude.
I get it. I understand the competitive edge and
yeah,
the competitiveness of these guys, but
yeah, but it's football. It's just the irony of it. It's the fact that it was the same team, basically the same exact position and the same part of the field, doing the exact same thing. Only this time he actually dove instead of trying to run somebody over.
Right. Back to the Bills' defensive line, my worry is this. If they don't figure out how to play better up front consistently, we are not getting past the divisional round again because we've got to be able to put pressure on guys like Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. And if we can't do that, he's going to – the same thing as we keep seeing every single year. We've got to figure that out before it's too late. And I would say because of where this defense is right now and how they're playing, which isn't that great, it's time to let Cole Bishop, Dwayne Carter, and Javon Solomon get some playing time. Let those guys learn, get in there. They're going to make some mistakes, sure, but nobody else is making the plays, so you might as well give them a shot.
They're not going to give Cole Bishop any time. They're saving him for next year, which I don't blame him. I think they're truly giving Hamlin this year to be like, this is your chance. Show us what you got. Now, he has 2 picks that were, fell into his hands, but there is something to say about being right place, right time. They're,
making the play when it's there for. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's not like he's gone out and made a play. He hasn't gone out and sniped a pass or done a peanut punch, any of that stuff. But
I will say this about him.
He's played exactly how I thought he would play.
Yeah.
He is the Levi Wallace of safeties.
That's a good one. I like that.
And you know how much I love and ended up hating Levi Wallace. because
I,
the Bills got stuck in mediocrity, and I don't want them to be stuck in mediocrity. But the addition of Cole Bishop makes me think that this is just going to be a 1-year thing with Hamlin.
I just want him to learn in the game. There's no better way to learn and accelerate that learning curve than to be on the field when the bullets are flying. And I'm going to say with Hamlin, the one thing that I do have noticed when you watch the games, he's almost always where the ball is. He does a really good job of being involved in the play. He's almost always there. He's just like you said, he's not a playmaker. He's like the safeties version of the game manager.
He's Levi Wallace.
Yeah.
He's Levi Wallace. He's Dane Jackson. I understand like we're talking two different positions here, but it's the same kind of idea. It's the same idea.
Not that far off of different
not
though.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing. He doesn't let anything go over his head. Everything stays in front of him, and he'll try to rally the 10 yards to make the tackle. That's good enough, until it's not. Until you need a play to be made. And
that's where I'm at.
But
that's why I want Cole Bishop in there, because he's the guy that has that ability to make that play. But if you don't give him the time to learn and experience it now, I'm sure he'll be fine next year. We can wait, blah, 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 whatever. But you kind of go back to what a lot of Bills fans are saying about wasting another year of Josh Allen. Are we not doing that now if we don't get these guys on the field and let them play now? If this is supposed to be a reset year, why not?
Or because it didn't go how everybody thought it was going to go, because we're 7-2.
Right.
And
look at this division.
If the season went how everybody thought it was going to go, we were going to be middle of the pack, a 500 team, then I think we would see Cole Bishop. I 100% do. But now that there's kind of a shot here. We basically have the division locked up.
Exactly. That's my point, kind of.
But now it's fight for the seeding, and nothing has been broken to where you got to fix it. But
no, it's broken.
Yes, but in a couple of
not
weeks,
so much in the secondary.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that's what we're talking about.
But I'm also talking about Javon Solomon and Dwayne Carter. Like all three of those guys, they are the future of this defense. We have a monster lead in the division.
Yeah, but Dwayne Carter's
hurt.
Play. We can't do anything about Dwayne Carter. Like, what do you want? What do you want from these guys?
Fully aware.
They were playing him. What do you want from him?
I want Oliver on the bench. I am done with him. I'm like, the money they're paying him.
You get these bugs up your butt about certain players every year. It's so
when they
funny.
Don't perform, when they don't execute and don't do their job, bye. See ya.
It's so funny. Well, I think it's funny because there's nothing that's going to happen, and that you're just going to have to sit and stew about it. And it just makes me so funny. It makes me so happy. Because Ryan's going to be like, the next 3 years, Ryan's going to be like, I don't like Ed Oliver. And there's nothing that anybody's going to do about it.
You're right, they're not. But I'm still going to voice my opinion on it. And
I know, but
anybody who will listen,
it's so fun. It's so fun for me.
I'm just if there's players who are not executing, who are not doing their job, and they're getting paid like Ed Oliver is, I'm going to call him out on it. No, you're right. It's not going to change, and they're not going to take him out. I know that. I get that, but it's not going to stop me from saying it.
I genuinely do think that injury is nagging. I 100% do, and I go back to just the snaps that I didn't see him out there this past game.
Well, I tell you what, if we get to this offseason and we hear, oh yeah, he was playing on a bum ankle all season long.
Yeah, I hate.
Then bench him.
Yeah, not even bench him. Just put him on IR. I agree with that.
Same thing with Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel's the same situation. I think there's something he is struggling with injury-wise, and they keep trying to play through it. Put him on IR. Let's get him healthy. If we lose a couple of games because Ed Oliver and and Keon Coleman and all these guys are on IR, so be it. We need to get healthy and ready for the playoffs. We're going to the playoffs. That's not a question. I don't even really care, honestly, about the number one seed. When was the last time the number one seed made it to the Super Bowl?
No,
How often does that really happen?
How many times has KC won the Super Bowl? No, I'm just kidding.
They haven't been the number one seed all the time.
No, I was just kidding because they go all the time.
Look, if you're a Super Bowl team, it should not matter whether you're at home or not. Period.
Well, no, when I said seeding, I meant talking about like, okay, so if we end up the 3 seed, do we end up playing the Ravens first round and then the Chiefs second round?
If you are a Super Bowl team, it does not matter.
You still want to try to work your way to the easiest road.
As a team, if you have to worry about that, then you're not a Super Bowl team.
The Patriots used to do it every year. They used to sacrifice.
I guarantee you, the Patriots were not worried about who they were playing.
They used to sit players and sacrifice the 16th game to get so they would get a certain seed. They've done it, and the Bills did it. The Bills did it too in 2021.
You're not going to sacrifice a game. That's not how these athletes' minds work. Not even the coaches. Nobody wants to just let's just throw this game away for the fun of it. They don't think that way.
Go look it up.
And unless I hear Tom Brady say, you know what, this is what we did.
No, I'm saying go look up Sean McDermott. He talked about it in a press conference a couple years ago.
Then you misunderstood the press conference. There's no teams do not throw games just for seeding.
All right, old man. On to Tennessee, as Bill Belichick would say.
You mean Indianapolis?
No, yeah, same thing, blue and white.
Same colors.
Ronnie,
I'm going to be honest. I'm worried about that one too.
We got somebody you graduated with playing quarterback this week.
No, not quite.
No? Close enough.
No.
I know. I wish we were playing Anthony Richardson.
Oh, it's not even Anthony Richardson I'm concerned about. There's a couple of things. Number one, we just talked about it. The Colts might have one. They do have one of the best duos at defensive tackle. DeForest Buckner is a freaking animal. I'm worried about that. I know our offensive line is pretty good. And I know, obviously, we all know Josh Allen's good with moving around and making plays off script. And then there's Jonathan Taylor. You remember the last time we played Jonathan Taylor?
Yep. That was fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, wasn't it? It was so much fun. He's going to do that again. In fact, I was running around town doing some errands, and every week I write my bold predictions article. So I was just kind of thinking ahead, what's some good bold predictions? I got one. Jonathan Taylor's going to run for 150 plus and 3 touchdowns against the Bills defense. And it's not even that bold of a prediction, honestly.
I would bet you that doesn't happen.
Why? What gives you hope to think that that's not going to happen? Yes, they did a good job against Kenneth Walker. One game, all season. You know, Buffalo's giving up 4.8 yards per carry this season, not just in one game or two here and there. Even the Jaguars average 5 yards a carry. Our run defense is atrocious, and it starts with the middle of the defensive line.
Bet you he does not get 150 and 3.
I'm not betting it, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to be shocked at all if he does it again, which he's already done to us before. And what's the common denominator with our defensive front? Ed freaking Oliver.
Oh, my God. He was a rookie. It was a completely different defensive line.
We have always struggled against the run. Always.
Okay, so then what's the one common denominator? Sean McDermott. Not Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver can't teach everybody else to tackle. Or to rally to the football.
Not making plays. He is paid to make plays. He was a top 10 quarter pick, and he's not doing it. I do not understand how you can defend Oliver right now.
But you can't blame. You can't blame.
Why can I not blame the player on the field?
You can't blame the guy. You can't blame the one singular guy for like an 8-year span of an entire team.
Well,
the Bills have. the Bills
It
have
does come
always
back
been
to
bad
the
at
coaching
running
staff.
and
It
bad
does come back
against
to
the
the
run.
coaching staff and Brandon
Yes.
Bean
So that's on
for
Sean McDermott.
not building a good, strong front four. They do a great job with the secondary. They do a great job with the linebackers. For whatever reason, they do not do a good job of finding talented defensive linemen. Yes, I will give you that. But the players are the ones executing, and Ed Oliver is supposed to be one of the key players on this defense, and he's not. He is a liability at this point.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he's a liability. You're just in your feelings.
What did he do yesterday? Him and Daquan Jones
What did
combined for
anybody?
one tackle.
What did anybody do? What did anybody
Their
do?
main job is to stop the run in the middle of that defensive line. That's what a defensive
It
tackle's
was also
primary job
against
is.
A-Chain and Mostert. Like, what do you want? We played
What about
A-Chain and
ETN?
Mostert,
What
ETN and
about every
Bigsby.
sing-
Pretty good running backs. Derrick Henry, phenomenal.
Oh my
All
goodness!
right, you're telling me ETN is not a good running back? Are you serious?
I'm not saying that, but you're basically saying that all these guys are so good, so we suck.
Yes. What do you like? Yeah. What do you expect?
There's other teams that don't seem to have as many
We
issues
can't-
stopping the run.
No, but we stopped the pass like MFs. So yeah, like
Do we? Do we?
Yeah. Yes.
Do we?
We do. We had one bad
22
game.
of
We had
30, 25 yesterday for almost 300
one
yards.
bad game. One bad game.
No. Go back
One
and look
bad
at
game?
the numbers. Look at the numbers.
Go look
We
at the
get passed
points
on,
scored.
too.
Go look at the touchdown passes scored. Go look at
And
the
you want to talk
touchdown
about the people
touchdown
that
runs.
we're going up against
Lamar. Oh,
who
that
kicked our
sucks.
ass.
On the ground, not in the air.
Yeah, he did. Sorry, he did.
No, he didn't. He didn't even break 200
thrashed
yards.
us. He thrashed us.
He didn't even break
He
200
didn't need
yards.
to. He didn't need to.
Exactly my point. He didn't need to because they could run on us.
Anybody
We played
can
Lamar,
run on us.
CJ Stroud.
Oh,
like,
my.
We played more better
Anyway,
quarterbacks.
let's move forward. I don't agree to it. Yeah, whatever. I was totally going to say something else. Anyways, you got anything else you wanted to add? Oh,
Yes, Syracuse basketball sucks. They're losing to a first-time D1 school right now, 26-24 at home.
before we go any further, I think Mike probably wants to run an ad that we need to do. We need to hear from our sponsors.
Yeah, we should probably get John his money.
Hey, this is John from Game On Video Games and Sports Memorabilia. We are Rochester's premier trading card store. We have a wide selection of trading cards, autographs, and memorabilia. We also do autograph and celebrity appearances in the store. So if you're looking for the perfect gift for yourself, relative that doesn't like the Bills, or for a friend, come down and check us out at our Rochester location, 2670 Dewey Avenue, or our Hamburg location at 1 Buffalo Street. Go Bills.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, so let's kind of, there was something else. We're hoping to have a guest on tonight. I think there was probably some technical issues and he was not able to make it. You and I were talking pre-show about this whole MVP race, and it's kind of early, honestly. But you had some thoughts on Jared Goff, because I brought that one up, and I don't, to me, I think he should be getting a little more conversation than he does. Never mind, Josh Allen, obviously we feel like he should be in there as well. But what is your take on Goff and where he should fall into the race?
So let me preface this by saying, like, the year he was traded to the Lions, I disagreed with it strongly. Like, I really thought, I was like, Stafford. Goff gives you exactly what you look for in a quarterback. He's not going to make the mistake. If you get him weapons, he will win you football games. All he was Kirk Cousins. You just had to get him the weapons to do it. And the Lions have, they built a team, they're just like the Bills. It's hilarious. You see a love and a brothership on that team that you see out of a college team, not out of an NFL team, because everybody's getting paid. They're there for a paycheck. They're there to feed their families. but college kids are there for love of the game. One guy off the NFL off a college roster is going to be a starter in the NFL. So like they're
Unless
there
you're
because
Georgia or Alabama.
right, exactly. But like the Lions, they're just a well-oiled machine right now. I mean, they have a good defense. Even I thought their defense was going to take a big shot losing Aiden Hutchinson, and it hasn't taken as nearly big of a step back as I thought it was going to. They've got a Syracuse boy of Ifeatu Melifonwu playing safety, who played corner, who I didn't think he was going to transition nearly as well as he did because he's a taller, lankier guy. But he's ended up playing incredibly well. They picked up Alex Anzalone, who's played phenomenal for him. But the offense, I think we can all agree they have the hands down the best 1-2 punch at running back. They've got a top, whatever you want to say, we can make it a blanket and say top 5 tight end in the league, a top 5-ish wide receiver in the league in Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got a guy who, if this was Madden, would be a 99 speed, and Jameson Williams on the outside, who they've shown if they want to hyper target him, they can, and he's got the ability to do it. You saw it in the first couple weeks of the season. He was getting 10 catches a game. And then they'll also run the jet sweeps with him. Then with Tim Patrick, as a third wide receiver, that's a pretty good option right there. He's a safe guy, nice possession receiver. People don't know who he is. Think of kind of like a Robert Woods type guy, just who's like coming off 2 Achilles injuries, like an Achilles and an ACL in back-to-back years. The guy's had some bad luck. But before that, he was a very good receiver for the Broncos. They actually extended him before they extended Courtland Sutton. So I really like Jared Goff. I just don't think anybody will ever vote him the MVP because of the team he has around him. And if he gets it, then it kind of solidifies Lamar Jackson's MVP more from last year and makes it less of a phony because Lamar just had the best team and he was a quarterback for the best team last year, the best regular season team last year. And right now, that's Jared Goff. But if he doesn't get it, then it keeps kind of showing how illegitimate Lamar's MVP was last year.
I think the argument that he doesn't get it because of the weapons, I get that. But if you look at most MVPs, quarterbacks in particular, don't they almost all of them have good weapons? The one exception maybe you could say was Lamar Jackson last year. And if you're going to use that argument, then maybe his MVP last year was legitimate. I mean, even with Josh Allen, he had James Cook, he's got Dalton Kincaid, he had Stephon Diggs, and we were all saying he needs to be the MVP. I do think if I were a voter voting right now, it would be Jackson. Honestly, I'll be 100% with that. I think he has just been phenomenal this year. I love Josh Allen, I know that, but
hands down, he's been the best quarterback in this league this year, 100%. And I love Josh Allen. I'm not afraid to say it. Like Josh Allen he's the second best quarterback in this league this year. Like he just doesn't ever get to claim that number 1 spot, but this year it's
always
number 1.
There's always somebody.
This year it's he's number 2. And I'm fine with that. But if Lamar got MVP last year with his team and the weapon, and because of the lack of weapons that he had and blah, 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 if Josh stays on this pace, he's going to be just as deserving, according to all the MVP voters last year, and should be more deserving than Lamar is, because Lamar's putting up the same numbers as Josh, fewer turnovers, obviously. But Josh is doing better numbers than Lamar was last year, and the team's doing just as good, or actually better than Lamar's. I know we lost the head-to-head, but we're still a game ahead of them in the overall conference. So who knows? Maybe they do see Josh. Like maybe voters are going to start seeing Josh if we just keep piling wins and stacking wins. Well, Ravens drop a game here and a game there. Who knows?
It would definitely harder sell for an MVP voter to not vote for him, because last year we all the only thing we ever heard was, yeah, but he's got turnovers. Yeah, we know he's got all these touchdowns, 40 plus, but he's got turnovers. It was always the turnovers. And they can't do that this year. And they're not, it doesn't,
Right.
I mean, even if he has a turnover game from here on out, he's still going to finish with less than 10 turnovers on the season, I think. We got
He's
what?
got three.
8 games left? Okay, so just over
he's got
10.
4, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions.
I don't remember the fumble. I did see that, but I was trying to recall.
There was
the second
one
but
against Arizona. It was a strip
I
sack.
remember that one. I remember that one.
Excuse me. Beautiful blind strip sack. And then there was another one. I want to say it was the Texans where he got strip sacked as well.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah. But I guess I don't have a problem with Jared Goff winning it. I don't have a problem with Lamar Jackson winning it this year.
I wouldn't.
You can even make a claim for Sam Darnold.
I think that hype's kind of deflated a little bit. Mainly because the defense isn't playing as well, so the team as a whole isn't playing as well. But yet he is still playing quite well.
I would say he has a better case than Patrick Mahomes, and this isn't just me trying to crap on Patrick Mahomes, but he's not having a good year.
No, it's not. Like we've all claimed Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Like we know it. Like we all understand. The dude's just having one down year. It's okay. It's allowed to happen. We're allowed to call it. You're still undefeated.
Is it okay? I mean,
but you get what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, no,
I'm saying it should be okay for us to criticize when criticism is due. We do it to Josh Allen all the time. So when we do it to Patrick Mahomes, when he has
for Ed Oliver,
like. I'm about to hit leave. But like Chiefs fans don't want to hear it. We are now 9 weeks into the season and he still has more interceptions than touchdowns. Now that could easily change tonight. He could throw for 350 and 5, and I wouldn't be shocked.
My fantasy team needs it.
I don't want to talk about fantasy.
All right.
I have the second highest scoring team in the league. And the only person who's had a team score more than 1,000 points scored on them this year.
There's 2 things that are frustrating about fantasy football. That's one, and the other is the injuries. You can't. Yeah, I'm in one league. Both of my starting receivers were injured in game, so I couldn't even swap them out. They got like combined 5 points. It's so. I know there's some leagues out there that have a setting that allow you to switch in game, and I think that should be a thing.
You want to hear who I had to start in a $100 fantasy league, a wide receiver this week because of buys and injury? Michael Wilson and Cavante Turpin. Wilson got me a goose egg, and Cavante got me 6.5. Like, I can't complain about that from the Cowboys' third wide receiver with a Cooper Rush in at quarterback. I had Deebo Samuel, Amari Cooper, and Juwan Jennings, and I'm like, I need 2 wide receivers. I have 5, and they're all hurt or on bye. This is awesome.
I mean, hey, Turpin outscored my 2 receivers combined.
But did you still win?
No.
Oh.
Not unless, like I said, Mahomes does have a 5 touchdown performance tonight, which I would rather lose, honestly, than Mahomes have a good game. That's just. I'm sorry, I'm going to be petty about that.
But I'm right there with you, brother.
No, my bad. I'm sorry. My 2 guys did combine for more than Turpin. AJ Brown got 5.6 and Chris Olave 2.3. Yeah, it's the worst.
I love and hate this game so much.
Yeah.
Are there ever days where you're like, I wish I just didn't like football?
Oh yeah.
All the time.
For 17 years, from about 2000 to 2017, I asked myself every Sunday, why?
That was when I enjoyed it the most. That was when I liked it the most. Now I have hope. I hate, who wants hope? That hope just leads to despair.
I see. I would rather have the hope. I would.
See, that's
I would
that's
rather.
what, like,
I'd rather go into a season knowing that my team has a legitimate shot, as opposed to going into every season thinking, "Man, I hope we lose all our games so we can get a better quarterback next year."
see, that's like where I agreed with like that Nicky Smokes dude, that Dolphins fan.
Mhm.
He was like, "Thank you, Buffalo." He's like, "I'm glad you beat us." He's like, "Because if we won, we would have had like this false hope where we can go on this miraculous miracle run." He's like, "But instead," he goes, "you just ended our season." He goes, "And now as a fan," he goes, "I truly don't have to get excited. I can just kick back, and if we lose, we lose." He goes, "And if we win, I can celebrate." And I'm
I
like,
have
that. I'm like,
thoroughly.
I
Yeah.
remember that feeling. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I remember
Because that was
that
after
feeling.
week 1.
Right.
Um,
Most of, or week 5 after you'd gone undefeated
yeah,
and
yeah.
end up 6-10.
I have thoroughly enjoyed all day looking and part of yesterday seeing Dolphins fans tweets.
Yeah.
Things like, God, I hate that dude, talking about Josh Allen. Like, this is so annoying. And just comment after comment after comment. And I saw one, oh, shoot, what was it? Oh, he posted a clip of Josh Allen's touchdown to Quentin Morris, the touchdown pass.
Yeah.
And he said, until we get a quarterback that can do this, cancel all the games. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to get out of here.
There's never
No.
going to be another Josh Allen.
No,
Ever.
he is something. We'll be back, we think, hopefully Thursday night. We'll find out. But yeah, so Indianapolis Colts, I do have some concerns there. We kind of talked about that already, but we'll talk about it more later. You got anything else you want to add?
Yeah, screw the Fins.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.